Welcome to episode 106 of Radio Free Endor. My name is Jamie, and with me, as always, is my son Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Very well, thank you. How you been?
I've not been too bad. I finally got my hair cut, so that's not too bad. And I've been working in the attic as we do, because we've got an uninvited guest in the attic, so I'm slowly stripping out the attic and getting stuff down. Oh, it's a pain in the bum. It really is a pain. But slowly getting there, slowly getting there. What you been up to?
Well, I've been learning to play the piano.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I'd take up a new hobby and try and learn to play piano around work. I also went to see Dune 2,
Ooh.
for it to fill the gaping hole in my heart that Star Wars leaves. And
Yeah.
it's pretty good. It is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not worth missing.
Hmm.
It's, almost better than Star Wars in a
Is
lot of
it?
ways. Yeah.
Cool.
It's
I must admit, I want to go and see it at the cinema myself, because I didn't see the first one because I thought to myself, what's the point of going to see it at the cinema when it went straight to streaming? And I thought it's not good. It probably won't get a sequel, but I really did enjoy it. So I'm hoping to get some tickets to go and see it. But
you only
unless
got 13 days of it left on an IMAX screen until Ghostbusters takes it over.
I know.
And me and Holly drove to Sheffield, so we drove an hour to go see it in an IMAX screen, and
Yeah.
it was worth it in
Was it?
every aspect. It was an incredible bit of cinema. And when you watch it, you can tell there's so many things that Star Wars not
Yeah.
took from it, but inspired, like the Emperor. It's a very different type of Emperor,
Isn't it
Christopher Walken,
Christopher Walken? Christopher
yeah,
Walken. Yeah.
versus names of mistaking me now. I can't remember. Is it Ian McDermott? But
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah,
He's not in it, is he?
yeah, that's the Emperor. No, he's not in it. I'm saying it's a very different Emperor. Like they
Oh,
both have an
gotcha.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Dune has sword fights.
Yeah.
Star Wars has saber fights.
Mm.
But all I say is, if Denis Levoon makes a third one, it will be the best trilogy of films I've ever seen.
Really?
It is that good. It is 10 out of 10 in my books. It is
So
good.
is Doom 1 and 2 first two books, and then this third one is like Dune Messiah, is it?
No, so Dune Part 1 and Part 2 are the first half and the second half of the first book. Dune Messiah, that's the second book.
Oh yeah.
It's shorter, and that's what they want to make into a third film. As like a trilogy of Paul. His name is Paul, and I forgot his last name.
Paul Atreides.
Atreides, that's it.
Yeah.
Or as everyone goes by in the film, Muad'Dib.
Yeah. Now you see, I'm a big fan of the original 1984 version, the David Lynch version, and I really love that film. And even though it's a bit weird, do you know? With that film, it's weird that, do you know, if I'm feeling ill and I watch it, it makes me feel iller. If that's a word, I feel really awful, especially with the Harkonians in the David Lynch version, 984, man. Just make you want to heave, proper heave. But I'm in this version. Have they got those weird? Do you see those weird spiders in this version? Because there was one spider or something in the first film, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember reading about it in the book, and I was like, "What is that?"
It's yeah, no, they're not in this film. But what is in this film is someone just as monstrous as a spider, and that is the Von Baron, Afraid Ratha. Harkonnen, who's played by Austin Butler.
Mm.
Really, really good antagonist. You need to see it before it leaves cinema.
He was in the original 1984 version. He was played by Sting from The Police.
Yes, but obviously the first that film tries to do both. So what Denis Villeneuve did in 6 hours, that film did in 2.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I do want to see it. I must admit,
it's very worth. The thing is,
yeah,
you more need to see the second one in cinema than the first one, because the second one, it has all the action in the build up, watching Paul Atreides riding a sandworm is like the coolest bit of cinema I have seen. Like, I love Star Wars, but my god, what he's done to Dune is exceptional.
All right. I've just had a message come up that we've stopped. There's been a problem on Facebook. Not too sure why. Yeah, I don't know if it's resolved now. Let's just have a look. Sorry, folks. Recommend password. If you need,
no, it didn't seem to be back, but we can work it out.
never mind. Never mind. There were nobody watching on the Facebook feed anyway, and I can always repost it. So, there's one question I do want to ask you about Dune. Is do you see those creatures that manipulate the space? Do you see them? Because they looked awful. Big creatures that puff the spice. Do you see them? The power of the ships.
Space Guild, no.
Yeah.
You quickly see them in the first film. And they're the ones in the dome. So when the Emperor's servant goes to Caladan to meet Leto, the Duke, and there's that orange mask. That's someone from the Space Guild.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But in this film, no, you don't see anyone from the Space Guild, because obviously everything happens on Arrakis. Paul doesn't leave Arrakis in this film. But you have to see this before it leaves cinema. It would be a disservice. It is a better second film than The Empire Strikes Back. It is. You will watch it with your hand. Like, I just can't tell you how good it is. If the first one was great, this one is exceptional. You know, it is so good. But obviously, this is not a podcast about Dune. It's a Star Wars podcast.
You're right. Anyway, right, because there is some bits and bobs which I want to get over to in the news. But this is the Bad Batch report. Of course, we'll be covering 2 episodes of the Bad Batch. Episode 3 and episode 4 of the Bad Batch just before Wednesdays, and of course we'll be back within sort of like 2 weeks for the next 2. But first, let's get over some news, because it's also been from what I was watching last night.
We covered Shadow of Tantus last one.
Was that 3?
Yeah, so
it was, wasn't it? So
different approach and the return.
That's it. 4 and
5.
4 and 5. So that's right. Thanks, Chris. Episodes 4 and 5. I'll correct that on the editing. Right. So let's head over to some Star Wars news, shall we?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Cool. Let's get it. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, this is where the jingle will be. Right. First of all, you asked me what I was doing last night, and I was watching the Oscars. And I thought it was really, really good. And the reason I bring up the Oscars is because the guy that won the best soundtrack to Oppenheimer, he just happened to do The Mandalorian. I can't think of his name now.
Ludwig Göransson.
That's him. Yes. He won an Oscar. For Oppenheimer. Now, I didn't think it was the best soundtrack. I've listened to them all. I've got them all. including the June soundtrack, by the way. And I did not think it was the best, but my money was, I knew it was going to win because everything pointed to it winning. But I did put my money down on John Williams, Indiana Jones, and the Dial of Destiny, even though it was an awful film. My boy John, you know what I mean? And even that wasn't the best soundtrack, to be fair.
That is something else. I don't want to go back to Dune, but Indiana Jones had a bigger budget than Dune. And you think, what was the money spent on? Because Dune is exceptional in its film. It's like, what was the money spent on? And it was Harrison Ford and John Williams, probably.
It's gotta be in it. It's gotta be. And funny enough, talking about other things that won in the Oscars, because I always go to best special effects, and I put my money down on what did I put it down on? The Creator, of course, directed by
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards,
and it had digital effects by Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, and so I thought, and I watched it, and I thought, wow, this is spectacular what they did. But I also watched a making of the Godzilla -1 with Nikki downstairs, and showed you what they did with their little budget, what they did, you know what I mean? And we both watched the making of it before Oscar night and went, that's amazing what they did. I'm really impressed.
On a small budget.
On a very small budget, yeah. So when I was watching the Oscars, because I always do a ballot sheet, and I put down, and my money was, and I was just about to put down Godzilla -1. I thought, you know, I think the creators had more, and I went with the Creator for the simple fact is it was more big budget. I shouldn't have gone that. I should have put Godzilla because Godzilla won. Godzilla won the best Oscar for best special effects, and the team came down and they were all waving the little Godzilla toys. One of the speaker he was very, very poor English. He was reading it, but you got the gist of what he was saying, and I was so happy for him. So happy for him.
Yeah, but, I think some of the things, like, he probably has okay English on a normal, day, but when you're on a stage after you've won and you're trying to read a piece of paper as well, yeah. But I think it was really, really good. The only bad thing is they always tend to rush them. It's like, stop playing the music, get them out of here.
Funny enough, you say that. I didn't feel that they were rushed this time. There was some bits they played them out, but sometimes they just let them talk and talk and talk. And I was thinking, I bet you they're going, like, looking at the watches thinking, look, we're going to move on. And then when they got to it, they're like, oh, we've got minutes to spare. Just let them talk. You know what I mean? So it was kind of weird. But I have to say, Oppenheimer stormed it. Absolutely stormed it. And they even got John Cena to present an Oscar naked. You know what I mean? And he had a very small sign in front of his package. And you can see online where people with their cell phones are filming it from above. And you can see the quick change of them putting some clothes on him. But I was thinking, yeah, I suppose it would. Out of all the Oscars, I didn't find it very wokey or anything like that. It was good. No, I feel sorry for Jesus. Jesus did not get thanked at all. Not once. Nobody went, thank Jesus. I want to thank God. Used to be the thing. I had it on a bingo card. Thank God. I mean, and no one did it. And a couple of people that thanked the Academy. But there were some highlights. One of them was Robert Downey Jr. finally winning an Oscar for Oppenheimer, and he well deserved it. Really well deserved it for his Oscar. But he's been so good in stuff. You think he's already won one, and he hadn't. But the weirdest thing about it is that you had Sam Rockwell there, who has won an Oscar. So, and he shook the hands of Robert Downey Jr. And I couldn't help but put it on Twitter. Isn't it nice that Justin Hammer and Tony Stark have now got an Oscar each for Iron Man 2? Yeah, so it was really good. And then they had this presenter who did Best Sound, and he went into this pitch of Field of Dreams. He didn't hum, didn't stumble. It looked like he didn't read it. He just went and did it all the way through, and it was so funny. And then he ended up with, "Well, that's why we have sound." You know what I mean? I was like, "Yeah, okay." So funny, so funny. It was really good. And towards the end, of course, there was a couple of political bits in it with acceptance speeches, and then of course, Jimmy Kimmel can't let it lie. He has to say something about Trump. If he didn't, he wouldn't be the host. So he did. He brought it up, and I was thinking, why could you have not gone without 2 minutes without saying it? You know what I mean? Without saying it, no, couldn't. He just had to, you know. And everyone's clapping, yeah. And I was like, oh god, yeah. Oh well. But apart from that, it was a really good show. Really good, really good. And Ryan Gosling singing I'm Ken. I could not stand that song in the film, but him singing it 10 times better. 10 times better singing
He
it
sung it
live.
in the film.
Yeah, I know he did, but when he sang it live, it was 10 times better.
Yeah,
It was
because
just really, really good.
Ryan Gosling can speak to a tree and have chemistry with it, you know?
He can. Yeah, yeah. And he did give a nod to the stunt people in the industry. And I've heard that I think they're gonna be introducing a stunt category soon into
No, they're introducing new categories, but that's one of the categories that some critics want, is obviously to, you know, say thank you to all the stunt people.
so they
But
should.
it's not official. There's new categories being added from next year. But you
Mm.
notice what they do now is they have like a pre-show where they give some of the Oscars
yeah,
out
they
and
do,
then
yeah.
the main show. You know, my favorite part of the whole show was you know, was Al Pacino. And I have to go to the envelope for that, and here it comes. And my
Yeah.
eyes see Oppenheimer.
Yeah, yeah. I was just looking see if that was online, that scene to play.
But he is like 80 something, but my
Yeah.
I think he was meant to say the other 10 first, you know, all the 10 films.
Yeah, it was. Let's see if it is. Oh yeah, it's here. Yeah, yeah. Hold on. I'll see if I can add it. Actually, I'll send it to you, Chris, because you can post that better than me. So
We don't need it. You'll probably get copyrighted by NBC.
really, it's literally just him saying it. Can you click on that?
I can.
It's very, very short. Let's have a look. It is really, really. It's like, because they're so nervous about them not saying the right name after that incident that happened.
And then they put person on stage that could mess it up.
Yeah.
And Maria is C. Oppenheimer.
Al Pacino's also Best Picture.
Nice.
10 wonderful films were nominated, but only one will take the award for Best Picture. And I have to go to the envelope for that. And Maria is C. Oppenheimer.
Nice. Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Yeah. This was the
so
person
funny.
that said, "You don't need this paragraph on this script because my face will say what it says."
Yeah.
But you know, people get old, and that's okay. You know, it's part of life. But I'd want to know who picks these people, and if that was actually the plan to just go straight into it. Because if it was actually the plan, they need to say it soon, or everyone's just going to be like, "This guy completely went off a script." The thing is, my second, you know, I did watch all the highlights this morning, and my second favorite part was the bit with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so good. Can you find it, Chris? So you got to play it. It's so good. It's the It's got to be the Batman
What?
bit in it.
How did he defeat you? With love. What about you? Chucked me out of a window. There he is, right there.
Hold
You
on.
showing up
Hold
your
on.
face around here?
Here we go. I found it, but here we go. I'll pass it to you because you can play it. It's so funny. Because I was thinking, hey, hold on. Michael Keaton wasn't Schwarzenegger's Batman. It was George Clooney. But of course, he's not there. Here we go.
Look at that. It's so beautiful. Look at everybody. Yeah, very nice. Well, Arnold and I are presenting tonight together for a very obvious reason.
We both tried to kill Batman.
Yeah.
Both tried to kill Batman.
Penguin in Batman Returns.
And that was Mr. Freeze and Batman and Robin.
Freeze.
How did Batman beat you?
Oh, he used my one weakness against me.
Heat.
Love.
Oh. He threw me out of
Love.
Yeah, he's really.
Batman, that son of a bitch.
Good. Where is he?
Yeah. I hate him.
There he is.
I hate
He's
There
right
he
here.
is.
He's right here. Look.
You have a lot of nerve to show your face.
No,
around
you
here.
got,
Son of a
you
bitch.
are a real beak breaker.
The
I'm gonna see you after the governor's ball,
You better believe it.
pal.
look on Michael Keaton's face. He's like, I was like, he's playing Bruce Wayne right there. He's even because he's got a different outfit on. I was thinking, that's Bruce Wayne. It was so classic. It was so classic.
Obviously, these
brilliant.
things are planned. He knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because of like not it's like some people said about like Jimmy Kimmel making a joke about Robert Downey Jr. being a bit too much on the nose. But Robert Downey Jr. obviously knew the joke was coming because they're not just gonna do whatever they want and see what happened like last year, you know?
Yeah. Did you see the joke with Steven Spielberg as well? There was a joke. I'll just see if I can find it. So what's her name? 2 stars from Barbie came on, and they were talking about people, and one of the actresses who was in Ghostbusters, the reboot, she says, "Well, who have I been sending like dirty photos to?" And then it clicks to Spielberg, and he goes, "Me." I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. What was the other thing as well? Oh God, right. So Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about Poor Things, yeah. With who's the lady? Who was the girl who won the Oscar for it?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, yeah. And somebody will actually, I think the camera were looking at her, and she turns around. She says, because she didn't like the joke, and she turns around to her husband or whatever, and she says, like, the P word. She says, you just see her mouth it, and you're like, "Ooh, she didn't like that joke." Yeah. So there were some prime moments. There were some really good moments in it. I think they did didn't they do a montage of all the crazy things that happened as well? Well, we watched it on ITV, which had Jonathan Ross doing it, and he was fantastic doing it. And I was thinking he used to host a TV show called Film 25 or whatever year you was in. That's the film, like film 77, film 80, film 84. It used to be Barry Norman. If you look it up, folks, on Google, Barry Norman film whatever, and you see some of his reviews. But Jonathan Ross took over it, and then the BBC got rid of him and got some 2 other presenters that were boring, and the show just went bleh. tanked after like 30 years, right? And see Jonathan Ross back on doing a program about movies, hosting this Oscar party. It was great. I was thinking, please, ITV, just bring back film 24. Bring that back. Let's have it with Jonathan Ross, because he did such a good, because he knows his movies, he knows his film stars, he knows his movies, and of course, because he hosts a chat show, he could get anyone. Yeah, so it was a pretty good night at the Oscars, and I would just want to say congratulations to a lot of people. Now, there was one, the in memoriam, memoriam. I can never bloody say it.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody, there was a name that came up, and he was involved with Empire Strikes Back.
So I can tell over all the dancing.
Oh, do you know, my biggest awful thing about that was I couldn't see the names. Sometimes they pulled back and it was on the screens. I was like, I'm trying to read it, and I can't. There was some names missing from it. Of course, Lance Reddick, who was in the John Wick films, you know, fantastic actor. His name wasn't in it. But the Oscars do say, if you want to find other people that have passed away this year, look, you know, go to this website and you can find some. But it was fantastic because it started with Dumbledore's voice. What's his name? Michael Gamboy. Yeah, Michael Gamboy. Yeah. He started it off, started the ball rolling with him as Gandalf. Yeah, it was so good. I'm just watching it. I've just got it on now. There were so many. It was really, really good to see. You know, I mean, you can't help but sort of like nod and clap, or, you know, like, well done, mate. You did well in your industry. Julian Sands, of course, who'd passed away. There was sometimes when you watch it, there's so many young people that pass away. I remember watching it one year thinking, God, these people are so young. But oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. Now, out of a tally of so me, Nikki, and Nicholas, we all three of us did a ballot sheet. My Nikki got 6, right? Nicholas got 10, and I got 11. So it was damn close between me and him. And he just guessed it. He just went guess all the way around.
Well, none of you got The Boy and the Heron.
Oh man, God.
Have you seen the film?
Yeah. No. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it good?
Yeah, it's a house. It's a Studio Ghibli, Hideo Miyazaki film. You know,
what, isn't it his last one or something? So he's
the guy is like 80 something, and he hand paints them. So like, you know. Yeah. And also, there's going to be a third Spider-Man. Just give that one all the Oscars.
Yeah, because it didn't even get a nod for the best score, which was appalling in my eyes. Right. Anyway, right, let's move on, because I've just noticed the time and it's really ticking. Right. Let's. I'm going to head over to Fantatracks, and Mark Newbold has got a new interview up about Jake Lloyd. And I think he spoke to Jake Lloyd's mother, and you can find it on Fantatracks. And the title says, Jake Lloyd's mother looks to the future. I would love for him to get well enough to be able to do a little bit of something. Now, the poor lad has suffered from a mental condition. You know, trying to think of the right words. Mental health.
Schizophrenia in the article.
Yeah. So yeah, his mental health has been seriously reported. It, you know, he's been in a bad place. And to be fair, Toxic fans, even I believe in some Toxic fans, they were really nasty to the kid. I think he did a banging, cracking job, and I love that kid. That he was in one of my favorite films, apart from Phantom Menace, Jingle All the Way. I love Chicken All the Way. Right, he did a great job, and he was believable about Anakin Skywalker, and it's appalling, really, of how he was treated. But I really do hope all the best for him, and I really do want to see him back, because if he did the rounds, you know, I mean, get back into them and start doing autographs, people would love him. People will queue up to get his autograph. You know, I mean, I would get my Turbo Man signed. I would, yeah. Here we go. Here's the you took.
Yeah, no, you really spoke over it. As the interview says Lisa is also eager to dispel what she says is common misconception that an avalanche of negative reviews to the Phantom Menace drove Jake to quit acting and contributed to his mental illness. It would have happened anyway, Lisa insists, pointing to a history of schizophrenia on his biological father's side of the family. I believe that it was genetic, and his therapist also agrees that Jake was going to become schizophrenic. She also insists that in 1999, Jake was largely shielded from the toxic vitriol swirling around the prequel films. I protected him from the backlash. He was just riding his bike outside, playing with his friends. He didn't know, he didn't care. Lisa said, everyone makes such a big deal about that, and it's rather annoying to me that because Jake was a little kid when that came out, he didn't really feel all that stuff because I didn't let him online. Lisa acknowledges that high school kids would sometimes bully Jake over Star Wars, something he mentioned in past interviews. But she says walking away from Hollywood had more to do with family drama at home. People say he quit because of Star Wars. Well, that's not true. It didn't have anything to do with Star Wars. It had more to do with our family, and we're going through a divorce. We were going through a divorce, Lisa explained. Things were unsettling and kind of rough, and Jake didn't seem to have a lot of fun auditioning anymore. Lisa said Jake still likes wearing Star Wars t-shirts and sometimes gets recognized in public. When asked if she sees Jake starring in another Star Wars project, Lisa says it's not something that's on the cards. Jake loved Star Wars. Jake loved filming Star Wars. He had so much fun, she recalled. I would love for him to get well enough to be able to do a little bit of something, and I'm sure he would maybe like to do that. He couldn't at this point, but you never know how much he's going to improve, so we'll see.
Yeah. And Mark Newbold just follows up with, be sure to read the full piece, and the team here at Fanzo would like to pass on their best wishes to Jake and family, and same here from Radio Free Endor. You know what I mean? We'll just pray that he gets better, you know, and he gets through it, and hopefully we'll see him on the circuit. I will definitely go and get his autograph, and I'll definitely shake his hand. 100%. Yeah, it gets a lot of love from this show. Just a quick message, and Royal Farm Boy, good evening, gents. Yeah, Yank chat supports here. Thank you very much. And I give him a star for that. Ding. There you go. Thank you very much. Right, yeah. So yeah, go over to Fanta Tracks. You can read the full article there. And Mark Newbold does a fantastic job. You know what I mean? Getting these interviews. And I did read that in one of his tweets, he's done 365 interviews. So technically, he could post an interview every day. You know what I mean? He's done such a good job. He's a proper good egg. I like Mark. I've met him many times, and he always has time for me to speak to. Yeah, brilliant. I like Mark. What was the other thing, Chris? There was some games that were cancelled.
Yeah, so this was one of these things where it wasn't officially announced. We spoke about it in our last episode. Bespin Bulletin and other news sources put out that Respawn Entertainment, who worked on Titanfall, as well as other things, was making a Mandalorian game. After these rumors came out, about a week or so later, it was officially announced that the game was cancelled. So pretty much we never knew what we was going to get.
Yeah. I must admit, it would be nice to see a different game, based in the Star Wars area, you know, the Star Wars universe, like Jedi Survivor, because I really like that game, even though that one level where you got to go through all those force things. The one on,
yeah.
you know, it's hard.
I guess it's really hard because EA has laid off 670 individuals. That's a lot of people to lay off, and it's one of these things where you go, how could they lay these people off? Haven't you seen Fallen Order? But, you know, if you're at EA, you would almost say, how can we trust that, you know, the Mandalorian game would be a success when we know a third Fallen Order game will definitely be a success? So do you cut half of both of their studios or want it all together? And for me, you know, if you knew these cuts were going to happen, I much would rather see Fallen Order, a third one, be all it can be,
Yes,
than, you know, cutting 2 studios in half to get 2 games out.
So you don't think this is going to affect the third Fallen Order game?
I think there's always effects on it, but I think overall it's one of these things where, you know, it's a proven formula. Fallen Order, you know, it's like, how is it easier to greenlight remakes and sequels than it is new content? Because it's less cognitive bias. People already know it, you know, they have seen it before. So it's one of these things where it's very interesting. And I guess it's also things like Disney pulling, you know, funding away from these things with their recent investment into Epic Games and Fortnite. You know, I suspect that we'll see Disney more pivot to that way, you know, the younger audiences than adult Star Wars games. But I think overall, like, if you never heard that this rumor was out there, it would have been like a whisper in the dark. You know, they would have never announced that the game was cancelled, you know. But because obviously news got out there, and to be fair, news probably got out there because they cancelled it behind closed doors a week earlier, and someone went, the world needs to know, you know, that this was coming. But it's definitely one of them things where it happens.
Right. Royal Farmby said, if you want to keep up with games news where it concerns Star Wars, I recommend Azara True. Azar True. He's a YouTuber in the UK with you, and he's top notch. Tell him I sent you. Oh, we'll do. We'll have a look at him. If you get a chance, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, I did forget to say that obviously Respawn is the same studio, so they cut Respawn, but Respawn also do Jedi Survivor. But it's one of these things where it's like Ubisoft or Rockstar. When you say Rockstar, you think of one studio, but you don't think of, you know, 10 different studios, one in Leeds, one in Lincoln, one in Sheffield, one in, you know, Edinburgh. So it's one of them things where I think it is that doubling down on what they know is success. Would be
Very,
what I
very
would
true.
put it to.
Very true. I don't know if we covered this last time, Chris, but it looks like that Jon Favreau is directing the Mandalorian and Grogu. Did we cover that?
Yeah, I think we did, but it's one of the things not much is known about it. So until we know more,
I thought it was. I could have sworn it was Dave Filoni was directing it, not Jon Favreau. But it says here that Kathleen Kennedy says Jon Favreau is.
To be fair, it's always been Jon Favreau. But one of the most interesting things that we've seen recently, in parallel to Disney, was Moana 2 was going to be a Disney Plus TV show, and then they've recut it into a feature-length film. So could we see the Mandalorian season 4 cut into a feature-length film? I wouldn't say that's off the cards, but
Mm.
I think it's going to be very interesting to understand where all of this stuff places together
Yeah.
as well. And, you know, Bob Iger has already said that there's been cuts in the Marvel studio and they've, you know, axed things that people weren't interested in.
That's
And
right.
they,
He's making
you know,
some drastic cuts, isn't he? He's doubling back. So I wonder how much like Star Wars he's going to cancel. You know what I mean?
there's not really much Star Wars there to cancel compared to Marvel. Like the only thing slated for Star Wars, in what we know, is the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And a few films that may never even get anywhere.
Yeah,
You know, there's
that's very
not
true.
that much compared to like Marvel of like your X-Men, your Fantastic Four, your whatever the next Captain America is, whatever the next Spider-Man is, whatever the next, you know, like Marvel is infinitely bigger.
That's very true. Yeah. Right then, Chris. Time's getting on. Is that it? Is that the end of the news?
It definitely can be.
Yeah. Did you have anything else?
Not currently.
Right. Okay. So that was the end of the news, and we will head over to the Bad Batch report. Let's go. Let's go, says Wrecker. Right. So the Bad Batch report. We are covering now episode 4 of season 3, and it's called A Different Approach. And it aired on February the 28th. It's 28 minutes long, and it's directed by Saul Rosar. I think I got it right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, I'm not too sure about it. It's kind of filler, I could say, but it's kind of needs to be there because it's sort of, because how else are you going to get Omega and Crosshairs to meet up with the rest of the bunch?
To be fair,
So
I thought this was a really good episode. While you can look at it as filler, you know, it really does show that, you know, when you become a captain of the Empire, you pretty much become a default like warlord of a planet, you know.
yeah, you do.
What
Become
you
a-
say goes, you know.
Become
Oh,
a wrong'un.
illegal is gambling is not illegal. Now it's illegal, you know.
Yeah.
Animals are
It's
illegal.
It's legal when he's playing, illegal when he's not, or when he's losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite good actually. So basically the Crosshairs and Omega, they crash land in that stolen Imperial shuttle from Tentus.
Antus.
Yeah. And they crash on a planet called Lao. Which I thought to myself, I'm sure I've heard that name, Lao. And I was thinking, oh, that's from Indiana Jones, Lao Chi, from the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Lao Chi. So that's where and because that had a street urchin on it, which was shot round. Anyway, so it was quite good. So basically, they crash. And they go, you know, they nick some clothes, of course, and they go into the city, and they try Omega's way of trying to buy themselves a ticket off
Without stealing
so
or, you know,
yeah,
causing
and
more
they're
damage.
corrupt, aren't they? Everyone's corrupt. It's like, and now it's like 10,000. I was like, God damn, that's a lot of money, right? 10,000. Was it 30,000? I think for their ticket. Yeah, 30,000 credits. 30,000 credits. I was thinking, God damn, how are they going to do that? So they have a plan of come up with, and that's gambling. So Omega's really, really good because wasn't there a previous episode where when they're in that tavern and that's the Bad Batches, you know, teachers are
the
to gamble.
Trandoshan,
Trandoshan.
I forgot her name. Yeah, she teaches her to not play the game that they were playing. I don't think the game that they were playing has ever been seen before. Playing a different game, The Transocean name will come back to me. But...
The game that Omega are playing is Balans, Balans, Ballaans, Balan. Yeah,
yeah,
Balan. Star Wars
Balan?
names. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Sid,
So
that was it. Sid.
Sid, that's it. Yeah. Danny DeVito's ex-wife voiced. And so basically, Captain Man, that's his name, Captain Man, Imperial Captain Man. He comes in, sees the new talent, thinks I could take this one. Of course, he loses, but he gets distracted, so he asks Maker to get rid of Butcher. Yeah. So Butcher goes outside, so they carry on playing, and of course, Omega wins, and then he taxes her for gambling because he sort of got wind about these strangers, landing. So then he taxes her 10,000 credits, and then he walks away. And when they come out, they're looking for Batcher. Is it Butcher or Batcher? Batcher. Right. So they're looking for Batcher.
People with Australian accents.
I know, and he's gone. He's nowhere to be seen. But there is a street urchin there who's selling those pesky fruits, and he wants 10 grand. So I'm like, why is this? Euros or what? Right. But she manages to get him down to 5. So he's an happy Larry, and he tells him, oh, yeah, it took him to the spaceport. Right. So then they get over to the spaceport where there's no end of these animals. It's kind of weird because they're transporting all these strange animals, aren't they, away? So I was thinking, I wonder if this is because the Empire is doing a lot of experimental work. And of course, whilst they're trying to find Batcher, the Imperial Captain Man turns up because he knew it was a trap. It was a trap to get them there because he had informed Hemlock that Hemlock will pay well, knowing that he's got their failed, their experiments, their prisoners. And so they decide. So Omega goes, well, looks like we're going to do it a different way, which is the crossfire.
Crosshair way.
Yeah. I was going to say crossfire. Yeah. Which is shoot everything. Now, I love this. I did like this because there were so many Easter eggs in this. The way these creatures ran past, I thought, that looks like Jurassic Park with the Galamoras running past. And there was it a Rantar? Are they Rantars with those tentacles from?
Yeah, that pulled him in.
Yeah, it was proper like Jurassic Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of those things where like bad people get their comeuppance, But it was one of the things that what was good about the episode is, at one point, Crosshair says to Omega to leave Batcher behind, and she can't because Batcher is a parallel to the clones. She can't leave the clones behind and what's happening to them.
Yeah,
and Crosshair just thinks about himself these days, and he does think about Omega. Like don't get me wrong, but thinking about himself and surviving himself, and he plays along with Omega because he obviously does care about her, in a weird way of not showing it. But I think what was really good about this episode is, even throughout all, Hunter and Wrecker didn't save them at all.
Yeah, they saved themselves. Yeah, yeah. It was. I must admit, it was. I loved that the ending to this episode where the 2 ships landed, Crosshairs. He says it's been a long time. They're not going to be. They might not be here. I mean, something could have happened to them. But no, the Marauder was there. There was this beautiful little speech from Wrecker saying, I missed you. You know what I mean? And he never gave up hope. And they went from one side of the galaxy to another looking for him. And in the end of the day, they found them. You know what I mean? Omega and Crosshairs. And then, of course, you know, they say, how did you get away? And she goes, with a little help, and turn around, and there's Crosshair walking down the ramp, and they all look at like, oh, what the hell? This is not going to go down well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it ends, and you're like,
And then it
what
ends,
did they
yeah.
say?
I was
You
like,
know,
oh, man. Yeah.
what did they say to Crosshair?
But I said it was filler, but I did enjoy it. Do you know, if I had to criticize something, it would be the voice acting of the Captain Man. It didn't sound, I don't know why, but it just didn't sound like his character. You know what I mean? The way he looked. He had a very young voice to a very podgy
That's
man.
your only criticism, and not what the hell is the credit system in Star Wars?
Oh, yeah, the credit system as well. I was like, yeah, I mean, what is that? There's no, like, you know, I'll give you 5 credits, 10 credits, 20 credits. No, 1,000.
The
Straight up.
understanding was like imperial, you know, an imperial credit was like $1.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, it's really easy. It's like $1, you know.
Yeah.
And then like, unless this planet is just like super rich for
Yeah.
a weird reason.
And it's like that street urchin's going to get back, and his parents going to go, did you sell much? He goes, yeah, kind of. How much did you earn then? 5 grand. What? You could get back out of them streets, lad, right now.
Yeah. Or maybe it was always just going to go to the captain anyway. It was all the captain's
probably.
money.
Yeah. Roll Fanboy, did you know the long-legged running birds Omega let out were Void Striders from Clone Wars, A Sunny Day in the Void, in the episode? No. Did not know that. Thank you very much.
There you go.
There we go. Some proper good trivia there. We're going to need you on this one.
And good money saving tactics by Disney.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they've got that. They've got that in the bank, and that Polygon. Well done, Royal Fanboy. You get another ding star for that bit of trivia, and going to need a bit of trivia for this next one. That's for sure. In a weird how they do use proper like nods to other films. Have you noticed? Because in the Clone Wars, they did it like they did a proper nod to Jaws. When do you know when is it the Rebels team found Rex on board that walker? On board that walker with a couple of other clones, and that played out like a Jaws, like the film Jaws. You know, even the music cues were like from Jaws. It's quite good. So let's nip on to the next episode, shall we?
Why not? You know, these you know, they can do whatever they want, just as long as it's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
You know.
So we'll go on to the return. So this is episode 5. I love it. If you go on to Wikipedia, when you click on it, it says canon. So it's canon, right? So this is the 5th episode of the 3rd season, and it was aired March the 6th. Director Nate Villeneuve. Well done there. Well done there. Yeah, well done there, mate. Yeah. So I like how, because I've never been to Wikipedia really, but it says the timeline is 18 years before the Battle of Yavin. 18 years. Yeah, so that's quite good. Right. So now you can remember. I watched this episode the other day. I watched it twice. Now this is a proper callback to another episode. Oh, we've got another message from Royal Farby. Omega was on that moon once before, where she brought Crosshair to meet Hunter and Wrecker. That was there where she met a young heart. Oh yeah, of course. It's the planet is called young Hara Sedula. Raylos, is it Raylos? Rylos? Ooh, can't remember now. What's the name of the planet? Royal Fanboy, what's the name of the planet? He's going to bring it up. I know he is. He's frankly tapping away. Yeah. Is he going to do it? Where are you? Where's the episode? What?
Rylof's nearest moon.
That's it. There he goes. Doing yeah. Thank you. Well done. Rail off. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it seemed familiar, and a safe place that she picked. So yeah, so this episode. Now, this one is a callback to an episode in season 2. Season 2 with Crosshair, and this is the episode. And in that episode, this is what he killed an Imperial officer, didn't he? Yeah. In this episode, on target. Yeah, and that's why he got taken into custody, and that's why he ended up on that planet. Now, so basically, they've got Omega, and they've got and Crosshair's been kind of, he's not chatty, is he? But you can tell he's got something wrong with him. He's got, and his hands are shaking, isn't it? So he's suffering from what's the post PMT? Not PMT. Post traumatic PT. What is it, Chris?
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, I was waiting for you on that one. Yeah, so you could tell he's suffering from that, and they've got that PDA from the pad from Tantus that Omega used to get out, but it's broken. It needs decrypting, and there's a good call back to Tech, because if they had Tech, he'd be able to get through it, no problem. Unfortunately, he's passed away, so they have to go somewhere, and it just happens that Crosshair knows a place, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah, what was most interesting about this is this place has been seen before, and it's been seen in episode 10 in season 2, and it's where Crosshair meets some other clones that are being basically neglected by a Imperial commander. And to cut the story short, Crosshair shoots the commander and kills him.
Yeah, didn't he not bring back? He brought back one of them, didn't he? Crosshair took him to Barton 4, where previous been stayed. That's it, Barton 4. Now, thanks, Royal Farm Boy. Now, he saved the life of one of them, didn't he? But he passed away when they got to the base. I did like the look of these because they had the bandages over the helmets.
Mayday and his squad.
That's it. Yeah. And they were like fighting for the Empire, but they were being treated like slaves, really, like second-class citizens, that were just being chucked at the problem. It was a really good episode. If you get a chance to watch it, it's really, really good. So, and of course, they meet up with Echo. So that's great. So Echo comes back, and he's the one that tells them that they need to work on Naylor Shell's data pad.
Yeah, and to be fair, they're having their reunion on Palu, the like beachy resort island. You know? And what's really interesting is Crosshair is practicing his shooting. He's obviously got like a stammer, like a shake in his hand. Is it like more of actually not a psychological condition, like you said previously, like PTSD, but actually more something like, you know, like a Parkinson's-esque manner? We don't know yet. We don't know if it's curable. We don't know what it is, if it's just practice. But obviously Omega trusts Crosshair. But at this point in time, Wrecker, I feel like Wrecker is like, doesn't hate him, doesn't love him, but he is a brother, you know. And Hunter is like, doesn't care that he's a brother. He betrayed them, you know.
Yes. Yeah, I always get the feeling with Wrecker, it's like if he's good enough for Omega, then he's good enough for him. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. If you're right, if you're
minded.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Well, yeah. Funny enough, there is a thing about that, isn't there? Because it says here that a Crosshair gambles about not getting a hug. Echo responds that will depend on how good his intelligence is. So it just shows you like about that's about his intelligence, as in if he's got
correct.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like it was really cool that we saw Echo. We obviously didn't see Rex, and I believe he says he's off world or something. But yeah, it's great to see Echo together with the crew. And this is where they go to Barton 4. In really interesting because obviously when they go inside, Crosshair finds the helmets of Mayday and their crew, and he picks them up. He puts them on a shelf. He's showing respect to other clones. Something Crosshair never cared about. And obviously something that is mentioned before they go in was all these beacons around the
drawing power, weren't they? They were drawing power.
Yeah, beacons around the base drawing power, and to turn on the computer they needed to power them down, and so they do, and they start getting the data that they need to move forward, and then a problem emerges with Batcher barking. And
yeah, he's barking at the floor, and you can hear a slight rumble, can't you? Now, I thought this was kind of weird because Hunter's supposed to pick up on stuff like that, but he didn't. But saying that, though, he was more interested in what was happening with Crosshair, wasn't he? Because he thought that he got the feeling that he thought that Crosshairs was going to like shoot him in the back.
Or
betray him. Yeah, betray him at any moment. Because that's why he sort of followed him about until they went outside. So they went outside into the snow to have a bit of an argument, and of course, Wrecker and Echo and Omega go out, and she's like, "Should we stop them?" He goes, "No, let them fight it out. Let them fight it out. Be all right."
To be fair, Crosshair does say one of the most sizzling lines of the show is that you're just upset that you didn't save her and I did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But there's still they don't want to burn the bridges. But just then they get attacked by that was it. Oh yeah, so they send Wrecker to power back because that was it. The worm attacks. How fast can people dig in the snow? By the way, a lot, really, really fast. I was like amazed with this. We got somebody here. Yeah. Joe Hogan Art, another Yank reporter for duty. Excited to catch you guys live tonight. Oh. Yeah, Joe Hogan, right? We met him at Star Wars Celebrations. Fantastic artist. He's done some fantastic artwork of Ahsoka and the Clone Troopers. Right? If you get a chance, go to Joe Hogan's art. Joe, if you can put up your website, and then we'll put it on the screen so people can have a look at like a link to your site because it's smashing, absolutely smashing. Big Ghostbusters fan as well. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Thank you for joining us. So, so they get split up. Wait to car, brother. Thank you. Yeah, we've actually had him on the show as well, haven't we? We did an interview with him just prior to Celebrations, and he was great. Absolutely fantastic. Harder Joe from Rebel Cell podcast, I think. Oh, yeah. I know that one. Yeah. So they split up because they've got to power these boys again, haven't they? Before the base gets destroyed by this giant worm, which is a bit Dune-ish.
Yeah, the beacons very much look like the
Humpers.
The Humpers, yeah, from Dune. Yeah, it was very much like this is kind of a bit Dune-ish, but why not? At the end of the day, why not?
Yeah, it is proper Dune-ish. Even the design of the worm was. And so Wrecker goes off to another part of the base, and they have to turn on the power and divert the power again. And I was thinking, I bet Wrecker's going to do the same thing. He's got to pump the power like they did in the first Jurassic Park. Right, let's do it. And then, of course, in the Jurassic Park, she clicks all the beacons, didn't she? All the park.
The breakers.
But, the breakers. But they just went straight to just press the button. But they had to get the worm on the opposite side of the beakers, or it wouldn't. It'd be trapped in with them. and then Hunter falls through the ice into this instead of just get back up, he goes, I'm gonna run down one of the cabins. I was thinking, why would you do that? Just get out. But he legs it, and then there was a proper little alien moment, isn't there, where they're looking around like, oh, great one, hold on a second. Juggernaut, hi, great to meet you. So yeah, he's talking to Royal Farm Boy, boom, and also same to you, brother. Joe Hogan Arch, yeah. Oh, thanks for Royal Farm Boy, you've whacked that up. Yeah, great. I'll have a private little message. We'll keep joining in and see how it goes. So they've managed to power the system, but then when Hunt is in that ice, he's like looking around, and then the monster's right there, and they get him out. And just as he presses the button and reinitiates the thumpers, so that stops the worm from getting to him, and it backs down and slides away. Which I thought, man, it's so good. It was just a really good episode. I just liked it. Yeah, I really liked it. There was a lot of action, and it sort of brought them closer together. Would you say? You know what I mean? That he knew he could trust him because he goes, let me help you out. I can't do Crosshair's voice. I can only do Wrecker's. That's enough because I'm going to wreck him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really, really, it was a great episode. They say at the end that it didn't quite have, if I remember right, it didn't quite have the information they needed, but it was enough that they could, why it didn't have the location of Tantis on it. It had a lot of other information that Echo and Rex would find useful to help free the clone prisoners. And that she did all that she can, and then most importantly, she escaped.
Yes, that's right. And it says later, Crosshair speaks for Hunter, admitting that he underestimated the Empire's malevolence. Hunter says that nobody really understood what was happening by then. Crosshair expresses regret for his past actions. Hunter says that he also has regrets, but that they should keep striving to be better as Bird Screech, the clones, depart on Echo's starship. Yeah. So, and they leave that place. But yeah. Oh man, I enjoyed this. I really did enjoy this episode. I love that. I love the fact that Crosshairs picked up those helmets of fallen comrades and he placed them there with respect. I love that. I like the nods to June. And I do like it when they sort of go back to places. You know, it's not, thank God it's not Tatooine. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Real Fun Boy says there are many more clones on Tentus than they'd thought to be. That's very true. That is very true. But will they get them all off? Because, you know, at the end of the day, this show's going to answer why there's not that many clones about. You know what I mean? And why? Well, it's sort of answered it with all the subscription troopers, doesn't it?
Well, you know, there's a simple answer. And it's called an orbital bombardment.
Ooh, God. Orbital bombardment established. Yes. Yeah, they could do that. But apart from that, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great episode. You know what I mean? The banter. So you know what? It's hard to think that D. Bradley Baker does all their voices. You know what I mean? Because they're all distinct, different personalities, and he's the same guy that does them all. You know what I mean? He does them all of them, which is, you know, it's amazing. Really, I can only do one, and that's Wrecker. Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
It's great talent, you know, great skill, and hopefully he gets paid everything he's worth and does not get a multi-character discount.
Yeah. Do you think he gets paid 5 people's wages?
Not quite, but yeah. Joe Hogan just said a really good point in the chat that the last time Crosshair was on this planet, he figured out who he was. This time, Hunter figured out who Crosshair is too, and that is true. You know, this is the planet he shot the commander on, and what's quite interesting is if you take the headcanon of Crosshair shot the commander and the Empire was just like, well, let's leave that base, move on. You know,
It
we
is.
don't have another commander to put there.
Yeah, they literally shut that base down. Joe, I'm give you a star for that because I did like the way you put that. Yeah, absolutely true. And Raw Fanboy agrees with me. Well said, Joe. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So is it because we've just come to the end of that episode now? Let's just put it out to the chat because there's some people watching this. Is there any questions? Is there anything you want to ask us about the episodes? You know, let's put it out to the chat. Let's have a bit of a chat discussion to see if what you thought of it. What did Royal Farm Boy like it? Did Joe Hogan like it? Joe Hogan, I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. What did you guys think of it? Let's have a look. Do those type-ins. Do that massive type-ins. And do you like what I'm playing at the back here, Chris? It's the making of Return of the Jedi. I've had it on my PlayStation 3 for a long time. And there it is playing behind me. Just in case anyone knows, that's the making of Return of the Jedi. I think it's like 2 hours long. It's really long. That's how I know what time it is. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, there was 2 really good jokes in the episode as well. When Amiga says that she's older than
yeah,
Crosshair.
she did
I'm
say
older
that.
than you,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
She's not aging faster than the clones. And the other thing that Hunter says, sorry, not Hunter, Wrecker says, that was quite warming was like, I couldn't just get rid of it to his armor, you know.
Yeah.
Meaning that he's always wanted him to return.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Right, Joe Hogan. I'm curious what you guys are hoping to see for the rest of the season in general. We're about 1/3 done with the season. Any story points or characters you really want to return to? Right. So if you go by the trailer that was released, you know there's a certain Sith apprentice that is coming back, which I'm well looking forward to because if you remember the last time we saw Ventress. Spoilers, it's Ventress. She was being carted away in what looked like a coffin, wasn't it? It was in stasis, like in a coffin being carted away somewhere. Or was that a comic?
No, I'm pretty sure the last time we saw her was on Coruscant with Ahsoka.
Was it? I thought she was in a coffin being taken away somewhere. I could have sworn Royal Fanboy, I know, because he's quite knowledgeable about this. Yeah. But but you know, so that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Ventress coming back. I want to know. Oh right, sorry, yeah. So Joe, again, that was a comic. Also, I read the comic. Then I can't. That's the only thing I can remember that she got taken away in a coffin. So that's not the last time we saw her. Then, so are the comics canon? Comics, are they canon or not?
It depends. Yeah, most of the comics are, but you have to remember they're the lowest form of retcon. So
Right.
comics, then books, then TV shows, then movies. So if something happens in a TV show, it overrides a book. If something happens in a book, it overrides the comic.
Yeah. Don't worry, Roll Fanboy. I have seen your message. We'll get back to it. In the current canon, she died in Dark Disciple novel. Oh, I've not read that. That's why a lot of fans are confused to see her back. Right. Okay. Yeah. That comic was from Dark Horse. Disney wiped old canon out. Right. Gotcha. Right. A little bird told me not to expect any bounty hunters in the next 3 episodes. Not even Sandra.
Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, Ventress. Yeah.
See,
right. Gotcha.
You know, the more I think about TV shows and movies, the more, not that I dislike trailers, but like sometimes it would have been a better moment for Asajj to just turn up in one of the
Yes,
episodes.
I agree with you. I agree.
You know,
with you.
then
Yeah.
you know, be like, oh, you know, this person's coming back.
Like
the same thing with things like Cad Bane. You know,
Yeah.
All these people are so popular, but it's almost like you have to put out trailers. It's, for example, I watched I went to see Dune in IMAX,
Mm.
and I told you, I've not really watched any of the Ghostbusters trailers. I saw the first one, and then I've not watched any of them because at the end of the day, I'm gonna go watch it. Like, do I need to go watch trailers? And
Yeah.
there was a trailer for the new one, and you've probably seen it. It's the one where they have loads of content from the original Ghostbusters film.
Oh yes, yeah.
Spliced between all the new stuff. And I said to Holly, this is really like nostalgia baiting you.
Yeah, it
I
is.
was like,
Remember,
no, hey,
Boris?
come on
Remember?
now.
Remember when you led the Ghostbusters? Remember when you had the Stay Puft Marshall Man? Remember when you loved the proton packs? Remember? Yep.
Yeah. The South Park does take the mick out, but it's that thing like, did we need CSR Adventures in the trailer? No, but it's also one of the things. Whenever you see a Mandalorian trailer, we would say, "Oh, we've still not seen these scenes, so these scenes must be from the end, not the beginning." But I'm excited to see what happens where like a Sarge Adventure comes in. What I'm really excited to see most is what happens to Nala Say, Hemlock,
Yes.
the Emperor. At the end of the day, they want to see this project succeed, and it takes 40 years to still not succeed properly. What causes the base? If you take the classic Empire, plan B is orbital bombardment. What causes them to destroy Tantus? Because you're going to have two options. It's either going to be the Empire destroys Tantus or the clones destroy Tantus.
Yeah.
But because there's no clones at the end of it, it'd be very hard to see that it's the clones.
Yeah.
Something that I think we will probably see again, that we talk about it, I think we'll probably see the Zillow Beast again. Because obviously they had it in Clone Wars. They captured it, brought it to Tantus. It's one of them unfinished plot threads.
Yeah. Because they did bring it back, didn't they, in one of the episodes last season as well. Do you I'm going to put this out as well to the chat. Do you think we might see the birth of Snoke at the end of this? Because 40 years, it's 18 years before the Battle of Yavin. You're talking 40 years from this to say his rise through the political of the rebels to get where he is, because he's got a lot of money, hasn't he? He's got a lot of influence. Everyone knows him. So do you think we will see the birth of Snoke at the end of this? Because like Chris has just said, they want this cloning to be successful. And we know by the vat that you see in the god-awful last film, with all the little heads in the jars of and you think that because if you remember, Chris, as well, Rey's father was a clone of Palpatine that had no force powers. He was just a box standard normal. You know what I mean? He was just normal, wasn't he? And that's why they cast him out.
Well, yeah, and it's one of these things where, not that you expect this TV show to end on a high, but I think, yeah, we'll probably see early clone and Snoke stuff, but I don't think we'll actually see Snoke, because there's a reason he's disformed. And, what you're going to see Hemlock, wheel a weird Snoke Emperor clone away and be like, aha, I escaped this time with this thing. Snoke, you know what I mean? Like, I think we'll see something, maybe.
Right. So Joe Hoganart says, I think we could probably see early Snoke stuff for sure. Clearly, that's what's going on that brought Palpatine to Tantis in episode 3. We agree. I don't think they would have set up the season if not. That's a good point, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, with the strand casting.
Yes. And so, and we do know that he eventually will take this cloning stuff from technology and take it to Exegol.
Yeah, because
top secret. Top
yeah,
secret.
because
secret.
Snoke was born on Exegol. It says he was born by 12 BBY. So it's one of these interesting things. I think we'll very much have to see what happens, but I very much think there's so much not cool stuff and all these things, but we know the season's got to go to a dark place to finish because there's no clones. And we know places like Pabu are going to be invaded by the Empire. It's only a matter of time.
Yes.
We know Asajj Ventress zone's up sooner or later. You know, we know Rex will probably be in it sooner or later. Rex and Asajj, maybe. I think we also had Cad Bane at one point in the trailer. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But we have quite a lot of interesting things to watch over.
Cool. Chris, I think with that, it'll just bring us to the end of the show, yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the show. Right then, I just want to have a quick shout out and thanks to the guys in the chat. So Joe Hogan's Art, he's been on. Raw Farm Boy as ever, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And no doubt, Chris, your missus is watching right now as well.
Yes, she has been.
And she told us, be on time next time. She's waiting. Be on time. We will. We will be on time next time.
It's very much one of them things.
Love it to bits.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Great show, guys. Thank you very much. I will actually put a link to Joe Hogan Art on the show notes, so you'll be able to go to him and buy some of his artwork. It's fantastic. And no doubt, Joe, are you, if you can quickly put something in the chat, are you appearing in any Comic Cons around your area? If you can quickly put some in, yes or no. And are you looking forward to seeing Ghostbusters? Because I do know you bought your tickets. I've seen it online. I'm sure I've seen you put it online. I might be wrong. Put it on if he has. Right. So thank you for joining us on Radio Free Endor. We hope you've enjoyed immersing yourself in a galaxy far, far away. Stay connected with us on social media and be part of our vibrant community. Search for @Radio Free Endor on Facebook, Twitter, X, isn't it? Instagram and YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our latest episodes, discussions, and exciting news. And if you're wanting a little bit of Ghostbusters, then why don't you head over to our other podcast, Ghost Head UK podcast. I am absolutely all over the place on social media with TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook. And I have to say, my Facebook with Ghost Heads is hit 104k followers. I don't know how that's got up. I just wish that, and I've been doing Radio Free Endor longer, so hopefully I'll be able to get the subscribers up here. Right, so quickly, Joe Hogan said, dude, I'm so hyped for Ghostbusters. I am too. I'm praying that I'm going to get some tickets to the premiere down in London. Chris is going to be there if we can get them. I'm hoping, but it's getting so close, and I've not heard nothing. They're keeping us all on tender hooks. Yeah, I think it's going to be literally a last moment thing, or to go down to London with the tickets.
But it depends if they believe in the film.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and Joe Wogan's no cons for a while, but thanks for the plug. Absolutely, Joe. Yeah, so I'm also on TikTok with Ghost Heads UK, head to TikTok, because I've been doing this thing called Repossessed, which is based off the film that Podcast and Ray Stantz are doing about haunted objects, and I've got a brand new one ready to. Well, I've got to just record the audio to it. I've been doing the photos and the pictures and stuff like this. Just quickly, if I'll try and give you a sneak peek at one. Let's have a look. Here we go. Pictures. I'll just give you a sneak peek. Now, this is oh yeah, right. This is it. Right. If I do this, and now if I add it, so this is a sneak peek of my next one. It's just a picture. Windows. There we go. Dish. That's the sneak peek of my next haunted object. Now it says Max. It's on a little digital thing. This is the end of the story. But if you want to know more, then have a look. Google Scream, the original comic Scream UK horror comic Scream, and look up the 13th Floor. Yeah, the 13th Floor, and it was a comic strip featuring this evil little guy, and I've now got him as a pocket watch. So that is my for my next one for Repossessed. And also, I was counting out. Funny enough, I was counting out these ones, and I was like so proud of myself that I got up to 8. That's when I realized I've missed one out. I've miscounted. So I've missed episode 4 out. So I've got to do an episode 4. It's one of those things when you're busy. That's for sure. So anyway, ripping back. If you want to dive deeper in Star Wars with this, send your thoughts, comments, and questions to radiofreeendor@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow me, Jamie_R_Burns on Twitter X, and Chris.
You can find me at Burn Chris
on X, Twitter X. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you and have some like chats like these guys who have been with us, and it's so good to connect with these guys. It's so good to connect with Star Wars fans. I'd love it, and you know what I mean. One of these days we'll all get together and we'll have a massive party, maybe for the season final. We'll all get together. Hey Joe, Royal Farm by. Let's get together. Let's do all 4 of us and discuss the final of the Bad Batch. That'd be fantastic. Right,
how sad it ends
oh,
on.
God,
Might be more like a funeral. Depends.
Yeah, that's very true. For all your super fans out there, head over to TeePublic and get your hands on an official Radio Free Endor merchandise, whether it's a t-shirt, hoodies, stickers, mugs, keyrings, or mouse mats. We've got you covered. Show off your love for the show and look ultra cool while doing it. Remember, but iTunes is the go-to place to download our show, so make sure you leave us a fantastic 5-star review, which means the galaxy to us, and it also means more people will see us. Yeah. Oh, Joe Rogan, I'd love that. Absolutely, let's get you on. He's funny as hell. He is. Yeah, I'll definitely get you on. Yeah. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Ready for Free Endor. May the Force be with you, and we look forward to bringing you more thrilling adventures from the galaxy far, far away. So it just leaves Chris to say
one more thing.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And me to say bye-bye. And see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye. Chris, you can say bye-bye again if you want.
Bye-bye. And don't forget to watch Dune 2 before it leaves the cinema.
Good plug. Don't see Ghostbusters instead. See you later. Bye-bye.
You got 13 days. And then you can see both.
Yeah, it will be in 2 screens. So you could go sneak out, pay for one, sneak out, and go to the other. Yeah. Right. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.